We've been really kind of struggling with what stories to share with you and how to find the time to share those stories.
There's just so many.
Yeah. We don't have a cameraman following us around like we did 2 years ago to make that beautiful film Sanctuary. So it's just us and our phone and trying to share with you the very real difference you guys make in the lives of animals when you support us. But when we boil it all down, what we realize is no matter what we're doing, if we're fixing fences, if we're doing behavioral support, if we're creating exactly the right environment here at the sanctuary that a struggling dog needs, it all comes down to one thing: home. We are helping animals that don't have a home find the home that's right for them. And that might be keeping them in their existing home. It might be finding them a new home. It might be helping shelter dogs go home. And it might be making the sanctuary the home that a struggling dog needs, or a struggling pig, or a struggling horse. But that's all only made possible because of your support. So
Thank you for being here.
yes.
And here's some stories about home. Home. Something most of us were born having and may even take for granted, yet one of the single most important things to all living beings. But what is home? At its most basic, home is our shelter, our sense of safety and security. It is where we look for support and comfort and stability. If we are lucky, it is also where we feel a sense of belonging, where we can be ourselves, where love is unconditional and unbreakable. It is our sanctuary. Home is also different for every one of us.
For Benny, home was the streets, his familiar routes where he would search for scraps or be tossed pieces of food from workers during their lunch breaks. For dogs like him, humans are scary and trust does not come easy. Understanding dogs like Benny allowed us to orchestrate the successful recovery of a dog who had evaded capture for months.
Hey everybody, come get your Benny.
It also allowed us
It's
to
all
find
over
the
now,
home
buddy.
he needed, where
You're
his
gonna be
fear would
safe.
not define him, where he would have all the time and space he needed to learn to trust and accept love from humans. Benny is spoiled and happy today in his home and is joined by Parker, another scared and lost dog that we successfully recovered and took under our wing. For Benny and Parker, home is where they are loved, even when it took time for them to love back.
For Hank and Diesel, home is where you don't have to leave your best friend behind. Found together on the side of a highway, these two boys were bound for the Stockton shelter when Shadow Spun got the call about them. Their finder couldn't keep them, but knew that if they were surrendered to the local shelter, already overwhelmed and overcrowded, they would be separated, and if they made it out at all, it would be without each other. There is little more heartbreaking than a shelter dog finally getting a home but having to leave their best friend behind. Hank and Diesel never knew that fate because we intervened to keep them out of the shelter. Now they are loved and spoiled in a wonderful home. Most importantly, they are together and will be for the rest of their days.
For Buddy, home was something he thought he could count on. At roughly 8 years old, Buddy had spent most of his life as part of a family. The day his family drove down a rural road, pulled him out of the car, and then drove off as he chased their car must have been the most devastating moment of his life. If he had been picked up that day by animal control and taken to a shelter, the stress and fear would have compounded his heartache. It turns out that rural road was also our road, and it was our neighbor who witnessed the whole tragic ordeal. Working in collaboration with animal control, we took him into our care, and in very short order found him the very best forever home. For Buddy, home means starting over, letting yourself love again. It is where a gentle hand reaches out, welcomes you in, and mends your broken heart. Day in and day out, year after year, we help dogs find their homes or stay in their existing ones. But for some dogs, their wounds and baggage make it hard for them to fit in, and home seems unattainable. For those dogs who need to be seen and heard and understood, we built the sanctuary to be their home.
Batgirl is one of those dogs. For 2 years, she bounced in and out of homes, forming bonds only to lose them, and in and out of shelters where kennel life took its toll. In a last-ditch effort to save her life, she was transported all the way to South Carolina, but arrived to find an adopter that was no match for her strength or behavior quirks. She was stranded on the East Coast, and it looked like her story might end in yet another shelter. That is when we intervened. Jill reached out to family in South Carolina who picked her up and kept her safe until she could be returned to California. This time, she needed a home that could meet her where she was at. That home was the sanctuary. Here, Batgirl is thriving. She loves camper life, enjoys outings with her friends, and gets to be exactly who she is. Most importantly, she never has to face the loss of her home again. By the way, she asked us to change her name to Ruby.
And what about the other four-leggeds who call the sanctuary home? Willie spent 4 years alone, relegated to a tiny enclosure in a backyard. Neighbors gave him food and water, but felt tremendous sadness for this lonely and forgotten little pig. Eventually, they convinced the owners to surrender him, and Willie was transported to the sanctuary. Here, he has a large pasture and 4 other piggy friends, including Simon Goodpig, his best friend. The sanctuary is also the home that Ferdinand needed, a Mustang who spent 5 years in a BLM holding pen after being rounded up and removed from his home in the wild. He was part of a Mustang training program, but after months of trying, he rejected domestication. The herd family he once knew in the wild was gone, and returning to his wild range was not an option. Ferdinand's fate was uncertain at best. So we welcomed him to join our herd. Here at the sanctuary, Ferdinand has regained a little of what he lost. He enjoys plenty of space to run and be a horse, and most importantly, to be part of a herd again.
Home isn't just any 4 walls and a roof. Home is sacred, and it means something different to all of us. It is where the worst parts of us are accepted, so the best parts of us can thrive. Thank you for helping us deliver the promise of hope and home to the animals who need it most.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble that might drag you down, you get lost, you can always be found. Know you're not alone, 'cause I'm going